world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes. An elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad.
Welcome back to the IP Squad and our ongoing investigation into films based on video games. I'm John Campbell. Joining me for this part of the investigation, for the first time on not only this season but the IP Squad in general, we have, it's a family affair. We have my sister, Kinsey Campbell.
Hello.
Kinsey, you're here to talk about 2020's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, I'm thrilled to be here to talk about Sonic.
I will say, you claimed this pretty early, and I will say, I think maybe the most fight for episodes have been the Sonic movies. People are actually excited. I have to pull teeth to do some of the other stuff. I mean, Reed was excited to do Detective Pikachu. There have been a couple things that people have done that they've been excited to do. But I would say, in general, most people are like, hey, can I get a Sonic movie?
Because they're great.
Yeah, they definitely are a shift in the movies we've been talking about on the show this season. I feel like in terms of cultural approval, at the very least, if not critical acclaim.
These movies are incredibly popular.
Yeah. They absolutely are. Yeah, they've been very successful, and it seems to grow more successful with each one. Because like this was a hit, but I would say each one seems to have gotten bigger than the one before it. So yeah, I'll have different people on for each of the Sonic movies. And there are people who are like, oh, there are no more Sonic movies left. So yeah,
there's only the 3 so far.
There's only the 3. So I mean, they're going to make each one seems to have made more than the one before it of the Sonic movies. And I think that also the critic response has gone up each time. I think
that's unusual.
Yeah. So I mean, I think these are about as beloved a video game adaptation as anyone has made.
Absolutely.
For film, I should say. Because we've talked a lot about how it seems like TV seems to be a better place for adapting video games. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, I think also it's an interesting thing because I feel like on paper you'd be like, ooh, that's not going to be good.
It could have gone wrong in many different ways.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it is I think they found the right approach to the material that doesn't treat it too seriously, but treats it seriously enough, I guess is what I would say.
I think it treats it seriously enough that adults will like it and kids can also enjoy it, and it's not too intense for them.
Right, yeah.
But also not too kiddie that adults are like, ugh, I have to take my kid to Sonic.
Right, yeah. I mean, look, I have yet to see the Minecraft movie that's coming later, but that worries me, even though it's massively successful, of course, that I'm like, I'm not sure there's going to be much for me. Just because, in general, I think one of the reasons you wanted to do this is certainly our nostalgia, whereas Minecraft, I don't know from Minecraft.
I don't know a lot about Minecraft. I mean, other than, like, I work in schools and students talk to me about Minecraft, but I don't know much about it.
But we always talk about this. We were Sega kids in a world of mostly Nintendo kids. We had a Sega. And so we were Sonic over Mario just by default. I mean, no offense to Mario.
Yeah, I mean, I would go over to, like, my friends' houses because they had Nintendo 64s. But no, like, I spent so much time playing the Sonic game that
right,
we had.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was the thing was we played a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic, the original, the OG Sonic the Hedgehog 1.
Yes.
Yeah. Is a real point of nostalgia. Because we had not only did we have a Sega Genesis, we just kind of had like a random collection of games too. Like I remember buying some games, but we seemed to just sort of like have games.
We did have like a weird, because we had a weird racing game that.
Yeah, I don't even remember which one it was.
I don't think I've ever seen again.
I don't even remember which one that was. Yeah,
I don't remember what it was called. It wasn't super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we had that and like. We
had
games.
Yeah, we had Streets of Rage and Golden Axe, which are classic Sega games.
Yes.
And of course,
was Golden Axe where you like went through the village?
Yeah, it's sort of fantasy.
Okay.
The guy one of the guys kind of looks like Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we had Golden Axe. But so we had a lot of the sort of like classics, and then obviously I bought anything that was even remotely related to superheroes.
We had a DC game.
We had the Justice League Task Force game.
Justice League game, yeah.
Yeah, and we had the Batman and Robin animated series game. We had the Batman Forever game. We had.
Course.
Yeah. I had the Judge Dredd game.
That also makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean that was but yeah, and then we had some sports games and stuff like that our dad bought.
Yes. We did have that sports games where you.
I got
like
really
shot like 3-pointers.
Oh yeah, we had Larry Bird's 3-point game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the Larry Bird 3-point contest game, and then I got crazy good at NBA Jam like 95. I got too good at NBA Jam 95 where I could score like 200 points in a game.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You were unstoppable.
I sort of figured out like certain people, if you gave them the ball at certain places, would always sink threes and stuff like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so like
you're the best team that's ever played.
Yeah, the 95 Portland Trail Blazers were an insane team in NBA Jam.
Breaking all the records.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's a big reason why I think we have, this affinity for Sonic, although I haven't played a Sonic game in I don't know how many years. And I know
it's been a long time.
The video game people who are more into video games than I am, because I mean really I dabble, and there are some games I really love, but I'm not as much into games as some of the other people we've had on the show this season. But I know that the game series has had its serious ups and downs as a franchise.
Yes.
There have been some really good games and some really terrible Sonic games over the years.
I watched the Game Grumps.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've seen them play a lot of the different Sonic games. I know Sonic Boom was a sort of train wreck.
Yeah.
I know. There was a lot of, like, they rushed it, and there's a lot of things that don't work in the game.
Right.
But I've seen them play many a Sonic game, and they are up and down in quality.
There's a lot of varying quality for sure. And I'm more of a fan actually of the Sonic comic books these days from IDW. Have been
those are very popular.
Those are very good, and are way different than these movies. But in terms of like, the idea of Sonic, I mean, a little bit like Mario, right? Is this idea that Sonic is eternal in like, there'll always be a Sonic game.
Oh yeah.
And if you're sort of looking at the mascots of video game companies, we were talking about this yesterday when we were watching this movie, that like, I mean, look, they could make a Streets of Rage movie, they could make a Golden Axe movie, but I sort of feel like the Sega roster of characters to make big budget movies about kind of begins and ends with Sonic and his related characters.
Yes. Everybody knows Sonic.
Whereas, like, over at Nintendo, right, they have Mario. They're now doing the Legend of Zelda movie. They've been talking about doing a Metroid movie forever. I feel like they have a deeper bench of, like, recognizable IP to turn into movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Every single person I know, and I think we may have even addressed it on past episodes of the show so far, and I'm sure it'll come up again, is like, is very guarded and worried about that Legend of Zelda movie. Which once again, we weren't Nintendo kids, so I know the importance of Zelda, but I don't have a lot of personal nostalgia for it.
I don't either, because even my friends who had Nintendo systems mostly had Mario games.
Well, because those were more the casual ones, right? Like the Legend of Zelda games,
Yeah.
I feel like, you really had to commit to those. Those games are hard
Yeah,
and time intensive.
I didn't know anyone who wanted to spend that amount of time playing a video game. We wanted to play Mario Kart. We wanted to play Mario Party.
I have more nostalgia for Metroid, honestly, which probably makes sense to you, being that it's the space game. That would be more my jam. And I always actually thought that would make a cool movie, and I'm sure we'll get it, especially if that Zelda movie does well. Then they'll definitely make a Metroid movie.
Yeah. There'll be one.
But let's go all the way back to 2020. This is in a weird place because I would say this is one of the last blockbuster hits pre-COVID. This comes out February 14th, 2020. So this comes out Valentine's Day 2020.
Just a few weeks later, and
March of 2020, the theaters stop basically.
Yeah.
I was there. I was there the Friday before the Monday that theaters closed that year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Seen Vin Diesel in Bloodshot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's not
I was there in IMAX. Yeah.
In IMAX scene.
Yeah. When they were doing that was when they were like, maybe if we just kind of space people out. That was the thinking. There was a lot of that.
I worked at a library at the time, and we were like, well, what if we just put the kid toys away and we don't put those out and we wipe things down?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh no.
Yeah. So that was the thing here. But this is really interesting. So yeah, this was the last kind of big movie, I feel like, that really made money.
Oh, it must have been.
Before everything kind of shut down. So they got in just under the wire.
They did.
And then pretty quickly, these movies have come, because you think about it, this is 2020, and we've had 3 movies in 5 years now.
Yeah, that's quick.
So they were quick with these. So the second one also came out just after movies were kind of back.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's an interesting. This has kind of weirdly become one of the big franchises of the 2020s.
Oh yeah.
And of course they're already making. There's already been a TV spin-off of it with the Knuckles show, and they've already, they're in development, and there's a release date for 2027 for Sonic 4. So
yeah,
nothing's stopping
People love them.
Let's talk about this movie specifically that comes to us from writers Pat Casey and Josh Miller, and directed by Jeff Fowler, who are behind all of the Sonic movies going forward.
That probably helps them that they have.
I think there's definitely a consistent voice in here. And this kind of launches these directors. I listened to Josh Miller's podcast, Best Movies Never Made. So I've been following him for a while. Those guys also wrote Violent Night, the Killer Santa movie, which is pretty awesome.
You love that one.
Yeah. But
Very different in tone.
I do think one of the things that they kind of cracked in this, in a weird way, is for being a nostalgic franchise of the 90s, Sonic, they kind of made a 90s movie in some ways. This, technology-wise, you wouldn't have really been able to make this movie in the 90s, but structurally, this feels a lot like the movies we watched as kids.
It does. It feels more like those kids' movies, where you don't really feel like, oh, I'm watching a kids' movie.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, everyone can like parts of this.
The decision to make it a buddy movie in the real world, as opposed to something entirely animated inside Sonic's world, which obviously is more what the Super Mario Brother movie did. Both Super Mario Brothers movies actually do.
I think I was surprised when they announced it and they said, no, it's going to be a live action movie. I was like, oh.
But I think that also had people worried initially. And, of course, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the extremely negative reaction to the first trailer and the original design of Sonic himself.
Oh, people were so mad about that original design. He was creepy.
Yeah, because they tried to... It's a weird thing where they tried to... This whole idea about this movie is more realistic, and it takes place in the real world. So they tried to make Sonic more quote unquote realistic. And he enters into this whole concept of the uncanny valley, right? Where you're like, oh, he is like a hybrid of Hedgehog and human qualities. And it just messes with your brain. He's got human teeth. I just remember everybody talking about
the teeth were really weird and creepy.
And I will say, it's an interesting example of them listening to that reaction and then saying, all right, yeah.
No, I mean, they to smart and didn't go like, no, we're sticking by it. We're going like, okay, wait a minute.
One of the big things that put that over the top was the people at Sega were apparently not happy with the design of Sonic.
Well, because it was a weird design. And like, I'm not surprised they didn't like it.
Yeah, and the solution that they found was just make him look like he does in the games, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. They kind of took his, like, cuteness away. Like, you should look at something like, oh, he's adorable.
They give him back the big cartoon eyes. They give him the gloves. Yeah. They give him sort of the proportions that he has in the game. And instantly, it's just like, yeah, that's what people want Sonic to look like. And I think that really made a massive difference. I think, unfortunately, it's opened up a Pandora's box of now people demanding that everything be changed if they don't like it.
That is a problem.
Yeah.
It's that in that situation, yes, it did look weird. People were right, it looked weird. But now, it's gotten out of hand of everything looks weird to people and everything's not right.
Right. And I think it's a tough thing. But I think
it's unfortunate.
The other big thing that really makes this work is the cast. Both the voice actors and the on-screen actors, because they get Ben Schwartz to be the voice of Sonic,
which is great. It was a great choice.
I think so. I know some people were upset it wasn't the guy from the games. Jaleel White was very upset because he does Sonic in most of the animated stuff. You know, I don't know. All I can tell you is that I think this really works.
I understand their frustration, but I also enjoy
it's sort of the
Ben
proof
Schwartz
is in the pudding thing. Yeah, because I mean, an interesting thing is, and we hear her a little bit at the end of the movie, or him. I think Tails is a male character voiced by a woman, though. But
I believe so.
I believe Tails is supposed to be a male. But
I
Tails is voiced by Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who does the voice in the games. She's the only character that is voiced by the video game counterpart.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It is interesting. I feel like Tails does have such a specific voice.
Yeah.
That people do think of that as like, oh, that's Tails.
Right. Yeah.
In a way that I don't know, I don't have with the other Sonic characters maybe as much.
I mean, clearly they felt that as well, because obviously they run with that going forward. And really, in this movie, we basically, for the vast majority of it, only have Sonic as our, creature character. And they pair him with James Marsden.
Oh, boy.
Who you love.
Now, I love James Marsden.
Yeah.
Absolutely love him.
This is kind of Cyclops himself.
Yeah. I definitely had a Hairspray poster on my wall when I was in high school, which had James Marsden on it.
A guy who, to me, has had a very interesting career in terms of doing a lot of stuff without ever being like a full boat movie star.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Like he's about as close as you can be to being a movie star without really me being like saying he is unequivocally a movie star.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously very successful.
Right.
And has been in a bunch of stuff, but it only feels like recently he's sort of getting the attention.
But even still, it's stuff like this where I do think he's great in these movies, but I don't feel like people credit these movies to him.
Yeah.
Like, he's not on the poster for any of these, I don't think.
Oh, wow. Not even the first one? That's surprising.
No, it's just Sonic and Jim Carrey. His name's on the poster.
Wow.
But it's just Sonic and Carrey. I mean, we'll get to him, obviously. Oh, he did make the poster for the second one.
Oh, okay.
But he's just like over in the... He and Tika Sumpter are just kind of over in the corner there. As also...
obviously, as I said, I'm a big fan of
but
his.
I mean, or I was
so
gonna
like,
say
it
things
would
like
appeal to me when he got cast in it. I was like, oh, okay.
I think he's a
If
guy
James
people like.
Marsden.
It's an interesting thing. He's a guy people like, and he turns in a lot of good performances. We talk about like once again like he is a real standout in Enchanted, but that movie wasn't sold on him necessarily. But
he's
wasn't
so good in Enchanted.
He's so good in that. He's so good in Hairspray, another movie that once again he's like really good in all these movies, even stuff on TV, whether it be Westworld or Paradise. Is like he's doing really solid work, but he's never like presented as the thing. Even in X-Men, right? He's Cyclops, which is always, the boring guy next to Wolverine is sort of the perception.
I mean, I do remember people being like excited when he got nominated for jury duty because people were like, "Oh, wow, finally."
He's very good in
getting,
that
like,
too.
Recognition for something. Like he's deserved that for so long and like finally.
He just kind of like does his work. He's just quietly a very good actor. And I do think one of my favorite film critics, Jeff Kanata, really, really praised him for this movie as like the invisible work that he's doing in this, of that it's actually on him to sell you that Sonic is real, and that kind of what he's doing is almost imperceptible, but is making the whole movie work.
No, I mean, you never question that he is interacting with this hedgehog and like going on an adventure with him, and because you never at any point feel like, oh, this doesn't feel real.
But it's one of those things that's like the quality of that, the skill of that is invisible until you see it not done well. You know what I mean? Like the sort of thing is like he's so good in it that he actually is just convincing you that it's real, so you're not even perceiving that what he's doing is actually really hard and is making the movie work.
No, like you're never thinking like, oh, that thing's not there.
Right. At every point,
or anything like that. Like at every point, you're just like, nope.
He is physically and emotionally reacting to something that isn't there, or is at most like a plushie that's just there for reference. You know, if you see how they shoot the movie, there's sometimes like a Sonic, especially if you physically interact with the thing. They sometimes use a real thing as a stand-in to get the fur and stuff like that. But
that would make sense because like sometimes he's carrying.
Right, and they'll shoot a take where you're holding a real thing to at least get reference for what the size of something is. But it's super hard to do. I think it's a similar thing that Wahlberg does in Ted as well. You know, these are, but it's just like because it works so well, it becomes invisible and doesn't get the appreciation it deserves.
Yeah, I mean, he has to interact. I mean, also in Enchanted, he's interacting with the little chipmunk squirrel.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing. I've seen people say, they should start teaching green screen acting in acting schools because it's become so much of a part of the industry now.
It's huge now.
That it does make sense. I mean, if people talk about it, it's almost like going back to being a kid, where you're playing in a park or in your room or whatever and imagining all this stuff. You have to sort of tap into that. But
that's a cute way to think about it.
He is he is as is often the case with him, the unsung center of a movie.
Yeah.
He's holding the center of this movie, and he's
delightful.
Yeah, and he's great. I mean, that's the thing. He's just very likable. It's sort of a thankless role as nice leading man type, but he fits that well. And once again, it's a thing where some people can do that and some people can't, and it's hard to realize until you see something where you're like, ooh, that guy doesn't have the skill to hold the center of a movie.
Yeah, it is always weird, like when you watch like a bad movie and you go like, oh, acting's a skill.
Right, yeah.
And you don't notice it until you watch it and go like, oh.
Absolutely.
Oh, now I see.
But I think the big driving force for a lot of people, including myself, is Jim Carrey in this movie.
I mean, we are to age ourselves.
Yeah, well, we already talked about playing the original Sonic. Yeah. So, I mean,
Nintendo 64s, but we were 90s kids.
Yeah, and so we were also...
And so Jim Carrey was...
He was our
gigantic.
Guy. Yeah, I mean,
we were kids.
We were there when if Jim Carrey had a movie out, it was the #1 movie. You know, it was everything. whether that be Ace Ventura or The Mask or Liar Liar. I mean, these are the iconic comedies to our generation. And it felt like he hadn't done a 90s Jim Carrey part in a long time.
It did.
Like, he'd been dabbling in, or if he did, it was stuff like Dumb and Dumber 2, where you're like,
yeah, that was unfortunate. Of like, we can't go back again.
But this felt like, man, to add to, once again, the 90s-ness of this movie, it is like, and you get Jim Carrey at his full Jim Carrey, but creating something new at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, because as I mentioned earlier, I work in schools, like middle schools, elementary schools, and they don't know a lot of the like things that I reference or people that I bring up.
Right.
But they know Jim Carrey. Like, they all know Jim Carrey because they've all seen these movies.
Right.
And so he has, remained popular.
Yeah.
Because of this.
And he does all the Jim Carreying in this movie you want him to do.
Yeah, and now new audiences and younger kids love him for that, like we did when we were kids.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. There's a timeless quality to his style of humor, the highly physical, and of course, inside of this world, in this bright, vivid cartoon video game world, there really is no over the top for him, right?
No, it's a perfect fit for him.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, when we saw like The Grinch as a kid, and he could do that big over the top Grinch performance.
A movie that we've talked about really only works because of his performance.
Yeah.
Like, that's not...
If they had to have that, or else that would not.
Well, because I think you saw that when they did Cat in the Hat, and it's like, nope.
Yeah, Cat in the Hat did not.
I love Mike Myers, but he's a different kind of performer.
Yeah, it just felt kind of weird. Yeah. Like, The Grinch I enjoy.
Yeah, but purely
Cat in the Hat felt weird.
He just carries that movie with his energy.
Oh yeah.
According to the trivia pieces I have here, very, very little of the dialogue from the script for Robotnik is in the movie. Almost all of this is improvised by Jim Carrey.
That makes sense.
And especially in the physical scenes, he said that the director basically said, "Here's the room. This is the music. Just do something. Go with it."
Yeah, I mean, that's what you thought.
Yeah.
When he has that dance scene that they were like, just go.
Yeah, they did say it was entirely improvised by him, including he actually chose that song, too.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I mean, there's so many things in the movie, or even things like, because there's the whole running relationship with his sidekick, Agent Stone.
Yeah.
Who that becomes a bigger deal in the sequels as well. But even just stuff like we were talking about how funny it is when he's yelling at him about lattes, but he's complimenting him. Yeah. That's even a thing that's like, even if that was written, the decision to yell it angrily feels like it comes from Jim Carrey.
Yeah, the decision to yell it angrily about "I love your lattes."
Yeah, I love the way you make them.
Yeah, just the tone doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's
for what he's saying.
It's very that's the thing, and so it does feel like, because he's doing that, then that means that like guys like Marsden and stuff have to stay on their toes as well.
Yeah. I mean, that relationship he has with his assistant is so bizarre, of this, like, I'm going to yell at you, but there is like a respect that he has for him.
Yeah.
And a like that he has for him.
Yeah, there's a weird...
But he also is going to scream at him, like, it's such a weird...
There's a weird abusive, cycle there.
Yeah, there's such a weird relationship.
Yeah. And like I said, that gets fleshed out as we get more into the codependency of them in the later movies. But yeah, I mean, Carrey just, in every scene, is injecting this energy that, who knows if that would have been there without a Jim Carrey. And so the whole, and the second he comes into the movie, the way he's acting around guys like Neil McDonough, making his third appearance this season as army guy.
He's in all of these.
But the idea that these are all just like generic army guys, and then this one total psycho comes into it, and the way they're like, just like, oh, not this guy. That guy's crazy. He's got all his crazy.
They call him a psychological tire fire.
That's a good description, yeah.
Which I was like, that's a pretty accurate description of who this guy's gonna be.
And I mean, of course, with him, we get all the stuff we expect from the games, right? All the robots and weapons and stuff for Sonic to run around. Because, of course, Robotnik is the villain of the games, although they do call him both by his American name, Dr. Robotnik, and his Japanese name, Eggman, in the movie.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I played this game as a kid, I played it a lot with my friend Catherine, and we did not know the name of the villain.
We didn't have like a booklet, because like back in the day, we talked about this so long ago at the very beginning of this season with the Super Mario Brothers, that it used to be you would get a cartridge of a game, and of course at this time the games weren't sophisticated enough to have like cutscenes in them. So you would get a cartridge of a game and then a booklet that would explain the plot of the game. And we never had that booklet for Sonic, so we didn't really have any context for who Robotnik was or any of that.
No, so we would call him Boom Boom because there was always this kind of like booming sound when you get to him, and that's what we would call him. Like, oh no, we got to fight Boom Boom.
I think I knew his name was Robotnik.
Because I had no idea what his name, and that's what we called him.
I had seen the cartoon show. So, I mean, I had some level of knowledge of it. But, yeah, it was sort of a thing where a lot of those Sega games we had, we were just like, I don't know what the plot of this is. And so, yeah, you'd have to kind of make it up to a certain extent.
Yeah, because, like, I remember having, what was it, Golden Axe? I didn't know what it was called. I forgot it was called that. And I was just like, oh, that game where you go through, like, medieval villages.
Yeah, I mean, and I was basically like, oh, I guess it's like a Conan game.
Yeah. Like, context for anything.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's an interesting thing about these games, too. And now, of course, there's whole, oh
my gosh,
mythos involved. And, I mean, I know some people were upset about this movie because it didn't follow whatever take they've perceived from different versions of Sonic continuity.
Yeah, I didn't bring any of that in.
No, because
like, oh, cool.
Because everything changes, right? I mean, the cartoon show has a different continuity to the comics, to the, there was when Archie Comics had the license versus when IDW has the license. I don't really think of a consistent narrative to Sonic beyond he's a hedgehog that runs real fast.
Yeah, and that's obviously...
Because in this movie, they make him basically... He calls himself an alien, but he's basically like he's from another dimension.
Yeah, he's from another dimension that has unlimited loop-de-loops.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very fun thing that when we see the world he's from, it looks like the first level of the game.
Yeah, which is a nice touch.
There's a lot of little nods to the game. I mean,
there's some very cute nods.
The fact that he comes to Green Hill, Montana. Of course, the Green Hill Zone is the first section of the game. They incorporate the music from the games into the score.
Yeah, the way they get the music into the score is really nice. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, that's kind of cute.
You love that he taps his foot because he's waiting for something.
And he taps his foot because I always remember that, like, playing a game when you'd like go get something to drink and you come back and he would just be staring at you, tapping his foot like, come on.
If you didn't move Sonic, he would sort of glare at you and tap his foot from boredom. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's great that's in there.
Yeah. Super fun. And so all that kind of stuff is just there to be, winky. But the the movie knows that like Sonic is not a dense narrative, right? It is sort of these things, and so it's all very cute and winky, and I think it just has the right amount of humor but affection for the games.
Yeah. Like if you like the games, I think you can, smile at those little references, but it's not so heavy with references that if you don't know Sonic, you're like, wait, what's going on?
No, because I mean the plot of the movie just becomes this road trip kind of action comedy sort of thing. Where, I mean, the bulk of the movie is just Marsden and Sonic running from Jim Carrey and his weird weapon drones.
Yes.
Which is fun. And, I mean, and
it's very fun.
It's that thing we were talking about where, like, they are lethal weapons, but they're not, like, the stakes are real, but they're presented in a cartoonish enough way that, like, you can take it seriously as an adult viewer, but it's not so intense for the kids. It's really well like balanced.
Yeah, I mean, because there's like a little drone that kind of looks like a little mini helicopter, and you have Sonic commenting on like, "Oh, it's so adorable," but then it has lasers, and he's like, "Oh no, how can something cute be like deadly?"
Right, there's
like,
lasers, there's
trouble,
missiles, there's bullets, but you don't really perceive. It's so interesting. We recently rewatched Beethoven, and we were shocked at how dark and how serious the stakes of that movie were. And in this movie, it's a similar thing stakes-wise in that there is a guy trying to murder this adorable creature, but you don't feel the darkness of it.
No, not at all. Like in Beethoven, like you are worried that like this guy's going to shoot a dog in the head.
And it's very clear like, what he intends to do.
God,
it's very grounded in reality. So even though this is a movie where Jim Carrey is trying to murder an adorable little hedgehog, it's all done in this insanely cartoony, Wile E. Coyote kind of way that you're never like, oh my God, Sonic might get shot with bullets. Even though there are bullets when you see him stop.
Bullets.
For sure. But it doesn't really perceive as that because you don't see Jim Carrey doesn't pull out a revolver and put it to the hedgehog's head. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's the big difference between them is like there's an actual like gun involved in Beethoven.
Everything
like, we're taking him to the vet and he's being put down by a bullet and you're like, good Lord.
All the weapons and stuff in this feel of a piece.
Sonic is like, it's still kind of fun and, you know, he's slowing time down to move bullets. Like, it doesn't at any point feel like I'm going to see Sonic take a bullet to the head. And I'm glad that I don't.
No, I think that's the thing. But yet it's in there. So once again, that you do feel like there are stakes. It doesn't feel weightless either. I'm very impressed by the way these. And I think as they've gone forward, I don't know, when I get to the third movie, I'll talk about I think they find some really good ways to ground these things in some emotional, stakes that never feel too dark.
No, but I mean, that third one gets into some
because they've
some real darkness.
They've earned the ability. I mean, but by Sonic standards. But there's certainly,
and you do feel like woof, there's an emotion to it.
Sure, and I think that
because by the third one you do really care about these characters and love them.
I mean, I should hope so, right? I mean, that's sort of the goal.
Yeah. And I mean, in this, there are stakes in terms of he has to push James Marsden and
Tika Sumpter
off the roof, and you're like, okay, I know he's gonna say him, but you're like, they're getting awfully close to the ground there.
Well, I mean, and there's a nice running. The emotional stakes of this movie is Sonic, doomed to be alone, ever having to. They have this whole plot mechanic of he's ever hunted, so he's constantly throwing these rings, which are from the game, of course, where he can hop dimensions and places and stuff like that. And it's sort of this idea about, is the safest thing for me to be completely alone in this mushroom world, as he talks about. And
it's sad when he makes a list of all the things that he wants to do, and he puts have a real friend, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's
so,
all
sweet, and you want that for him.
It's got that thing that good family movies have, where the stakes are very clearly defined and very easily understood on an emotional level. I think Pixar is really good at that, where it's very big.
Everyone can relate to that.
Yeah,
and
things that kids can grasp. That. Yeah, right.
And very sweet when he writes down all these things, and you see him and James Marsden accomplishing some of those, they're line dancing and they're playing darts and playing a basketball shooting game, and it's very cute to see them bonding and doing these fun things that he's never gotten to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it always is aware of what movie they're making, right? It's always keeping everything on this. That's one of the things that really works about it as a trilogy as well, and in keeping these writers and this director. Right, is that they have a real grasp of what the tone and vibe of this is, and how you can kind of push the edges of it a little bit without breaking it. Whereas I feel like,
you see them build this family throughout the movies, so it gets a little bit bigger each time.
Well, and we've talked about it. I know people have brought up the way that Marsden's screen time goes down each movie. And I feel like a lot of that is also just that shows you how much eventually people come to love these characters, that you don't need as much of the human surrogate to connect to them.
Yeah, and it's interesting because people were saying that, and I was like, oh man, it feels like, I think because of the way they put him in it.
Yeah.
I don't always necessarily, I'm like, oh, I guess it is down.
Right,
but I mean, then I'm like, I don't feel it as much.
Right, because it's not the thing about like, hey man, am I just looking at a bunch of computer generated creatures? Where's James Marsden? You're just like, oh, he's part of it. They're part of it. It's all, this whole movie is made up of all these parts. So, I think that really shows the idea that you can make a Knuckles show. We haven't talked about Adam Pally, who's very funny in everything.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And
Adam Pally's great in this movie.
And he's just here to be goofy. And then
we talked about, this is a 2-person police force in this town.
It does appear that Green Hill just has Adam Pally and James Marsden patrolling the streets,
and a receptionist
who we just see in one scene. She doesn't even have any lines.
She's not a character, but Adam Pally seems to work 24/7.
It does seem that
James Marsden goes home.
Yeah,
we see him go home, but Adam Pally seems to he's at the police station.
Yeah, Pally is there during the day shift when Marsden's there, and he's there overnight.
And he does the night shift.
Yeah.
He's putting in long hours at this.
Well, I'll say when
station.
he becomes the human sidekick of Knuckles in the Knuckles show and leaves the town, which must mean the town is in serious danger, right?
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Yeah, Adam Pally goes on a road trip with his own, creature friend.
Yeah, I mean, I do love all the stuff with the crime in the town is a duck stole a bagel.
I mean, they make this because Marsden's whole thing is, that he wants to. I mean, they almost have inverse goals, right? Sonic and Tom, which is Marsden's character. That Tom wants to escape his boring life and get to the exciting city, and whereas Sonic is trying to have an actual home and not ever be going on these adventures and stuff like that.
And I get that he wants more exciting life in San Francisco, but their house in this town is gorgeous.
No, it's
a gorgeous house.
It's an incredibly
in this beautiful
nice house.
Town.
Yeah, it is sort of a thing of
oh, this would be tough to walk away from.
Yeah, I mean, and
holy moly, this is pretty.
The movie barely touches on it at all, but seemingly his wife Tiga Sumter has a successful veterinary practice.
Yeah, she's a vet, so I'm assuming she's doing pretty well in this town.
I think so. I mean,
she's probably the only vet in town, I would guess.
Well, I can't imagine he's paying for this house either on his cop salary or, small town cop salary.
No, I think she's doing pretty well as a vet.
So I think, it does feel a little bit like why would you want to leave here? I mean, he wants to be a real cop is sort of his thing, right? So he wants to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's definitely his thing.
But you are a little bit like, that actually sounds super dangerous to a guy like me. But
Yeah, I'm like, I think I'm gonna stay in the small town.
Yeah, where
duck
you're
helping
steals a bagel.
Ducks cross the street and you're eating donuts.
Yeah. So
we could also call him Donut Lord because that's what Sonic.
That's what Sonic calls him before he actually knows his name.
Yeah, I also love the guy, the older farmer in town.
Right, who just keeps
seeing glimpses of him, and he's like, "There's a blue devil in our town."
Yeah, there's a local kook.
Like, oh, okay.
There's a local kook who's believes he's seen a blue devil, and Sonic is, everybody thinks he's crazy, but of course he's seen Sonic because Sonic is basically
and Sonic kind of views him as a friend, like, oh, we kind of interact sometimes, and it's fun.
Yeah, because Sonic is sort of, the whole point of the movie, right, is Sonic comes to have a family, so he's sort of just a squatter in this town, really, initially.
Yeah, he lives out in the forest in a cave and comes into town and observes them.
And there's lots of bits with that and stuff in his cave that's full of, he runs in an old washing machine and he reads Flash comics, which of course, he's connecting to a fellow speedster. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how charming and kind of slight, in not a negative way, this first movie is, considering where it goes, how they build these, because it really is just sort of Sonic running around in this movie, and then eventually we'll get more into as they start adding more characters and they start, the stories get, not too much so, but a little bit more ambitious as they go along each time.
Yeah, I hadn't seen this one in a while, and I forgot, like, oh yeah, I really enjoy this movie. Like, it's so charming.
Yeah, I mean, it's I can see why it made as much money as it did, because, like we're saying, it really does do that thing of, it's pleasant enough for the parents, and and it's not overly annoying for the kids stuff. I mean, I do think there's a lot of that, really. Like, when you sit down to make a movie like this, you're going to be looking at an audience of parents bringing their kids, so it is sort of a thing about, like, how much are you going to try to play to the parents? And I think, obviously, the gold standard for that is Pixar.
Oh yeah, of course.
Where, I mean, some would even argue that some of their movies maybe tiptoe into being too much for adults. But I think this movie does a good enough job, and, like, the funny stuff is legitimately funny.
And there's some great jokes in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, I don't think these guys, Casey and Miller, who write these movies, set out to write kids movies, but they're funny writers who fell into this and treat it with, a seriousness that, they approach this not as like, oh, we're writing a kids movie.
No, it's clear they don't approach it from that. And I'm guessing parents appreciate that, because there's a lot of kids stuff these days that I would imagine is
I see, and
challenging to sit through.
Obviously, not having kids, I don't see all of them, but I see the trailers in front of stuff all the time. And
yeah,
I mean, some of these things, the trailers are irritating as hell.
Oh yeah, and you'll see them just like again and again every time, and you're like, not this one again.
I can't with the Minions, man. I just can't. Like, it's just, they just are. Oh boy, like.
Yeah, I don't follow the Minion stuff, because that was well past me being a kid, that stuff coming out, and I don't get it.
I mean, if you're a fan of that stuff, once again, I'm not gonna come for you on any of that or say that's wrong. But
if you enjoy it, that's great. I don't
get it. It seems very irritating to me.
Yeah.
So
I get wanting to see the Despicable Me movies.
Well, when they
get on their own, I'm just like, I don't follow.
No, I agree. It's a lot. They're a lot.
They're a lot.
It's a lot of energy. I feel like
that would be high energy.
A lot of kids' movies default to just being energy, and these movies, at least, they zip along. But there's at least, like we're talking about, some kind of weight or emotional core to them. And once again, I don't want to overstate it. I mean, these are definitely family comedies, but. Yeah, there's enough there that you can invest.
It's just a little bit more. Like, you really do care about everyone, and you want to see them succeed, and you want to see Sonic get a home by the end of the movie.
And spoiler alert, he does.
He does.
Yeah. They basically adopt
a very
Sonic.
Nice
there's an interesting thing there about, like, is Sonic a pet or a kid or like.
Yeah. I feel like he's a kid, like they kind of but I don't know what he exists somewhere in between pet and child.
Yeah, he's an interesting relation, and then eventually, of course, they'll have a bunch of these things living there.
Yes. They will adopt many of these creatures, but of course, he has a very cute cute attic room.
Each one of these movies calls its shot in the mid-credits, and the next movie's gonna have Tails. Yeah, we know it also is going to have Knuckles. It, of course, will also have Knuckles, and then that one sets up another one, and then 3 sets up another one, and you just keep adding these Sonic characters going forward.
Yeah.
So, and that's fun. You're like, oh, next time you get to see Tails.
Because everybody likes Tails.
Of course, yeah.
Fly around.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's talk about how this did at the box office, because 2020, of course, very weird year for box office.
Very weird year.
Let's talk about what the where this landed on the box office. So this made $319 million worldwide. Where do you think that landed?
Holy moly.
In the top 200. I mean, keep in mind, most of these are movies I've never heard of. Because
top 200.
The top 200 movies that came out in 2020.
I have no idea where
The
that
vast,
would land.
vast majority of these are in foreign territories.
That's what I was going to guess, because
Yeah.
it would have to be that.
Because honestly, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doolittle is in the top 10. Because that's just how few movies came out, even though that thing bombed. I mean, I will say the highest grossing...
Did that come out the same... Did that come out in 2020?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Wow, I would have thought that was older. That movie sounds
that movie's
very
bad.
weird.
That movie's very bad.
I've never seen it. I've listened to podcasts about it. I'm always like, man, that sounds weird.
It came out just a little bit before Sonic.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, about a month before January 17th. And it was not... I'll give you the top 5 are weird because it's Demon Slayer and then a bunch of Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Mugen Train. Don't know. That's the highest grossing movie of 2020.
Wow.
That's
a good trivia question.
The 800, which is also like a Chinese historical epic, is in second place. Here's an American movie that I did see also at the beginning of the year. Bad Boys for Life is number 3.
Okay.
My People, My Homeland, another Chinese movie. Once again, China opened their theaters sooner, so
that would make sense.
My People, My Homeland. And then number 5 is Christopher Nolan's Tenet, which of course was the canary in the coal mine of can we still... And I actually did okay considering.
Yeah, that's better than I thought.
So where do you think Sonic landed? With a 300.
Is it in the top 10?
Yes.
Okay. Is it 10?
No, it's actually number 6. It's just below 10.
Okay.
Yeah, number 6 at 319.7 million worldwide.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean
for 2020, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It got sort of cut off there, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you had a few things. Invisible Man was early in that part of the year. Birds of Prey was early in that part of the year. And then it just kind of falls. Yeah,
it would.
New Mutants comes out mid-pandemic. They tried that. I'll defend that New Mutants movie.
I like the New Mutants movie.
Yeah, I thought it was good, and I think people slept on it. But whatever.
That's a different podcast.
But that's a different podcast.
Movies people slept on.
Well, that is a friend of the show and frequent contributor Robin Jones often talks about movies America failed. I don't know if I want to go far enough to say that's in that category, but there are movies that you look at and you go, I think America failed that movie.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely those.
Yeah. Let's look at some highs and lows before we get out of here. We're obviously pretty keen on this movie, so I'll start with a high. Let's see here. This comes to us from Movie Films Reviews, Inc. Okay.
That sounds very professional.
Yeah, I think you can also just call your IMDb that, too. You can just claim you're incorporated. All right. The title of the review is My Childhood Brought to Life. Sonic the Hedgehog is a good action-adventure video game adaptation and buddy comedy. It feels almost completely impersonal, save for whenever James Marsden, playing Sonic's human companion, tries to rescue Mimi by being confident and graceful in the face of an otherwise dire send the magical critter back home kitty fantasy. I hope that everybody involved in the making of this movie got paid well and on time. Oh, wow. This is brutal. Why did they give it 10 stars? And then that... Oh, that's weird. I'm going to skip this. That's a weird one.
That was taking a weird turn.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with finding the 10-star reviews here is a lot of people are just like, it was fun. All right, here we go. How about this from Mofulus? Man, I gotta vet these better. This one surely is going somewhere good because the title of the review is hilarious and the ultimate family movie.
Okay. Hopefully it doesn't take a weird turn.
I spent a while debating whether I should give this film 9 or 10 stars. In the end, I decided to give it a perfect score, and here's the main reason why. I had an absolute blast throughout the entirety of the movie, and there was nothing that had me feeling disappointing or wishing a scene was over. It pulls you right in with a riveting pace and hilarious humor, and the entire movie is loaded to the brim with jokes that had myself and the whole audience laughing. I know everyone has a different sense of humor, but for me, it had me laughing until I was crying. That's not the film's only good point, though. The action is fun to watch and never even begins to get boring. It doesn't take up an excessive portion of the movie, but the action scenes are creative and entrancing to watch. Entrancing is an interesting word to use.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite scenes were getting a POV of Sonic running in any scene in which the world was in slow motion while Sonic was at top speed. We did talk about that. That's kind of become the default for speedsters a lot, both Quicksilver in the X-Men movies and the Flash in the DC movies have kind of used that effect.
Yeah, this feels very much like the Quicksilver scenes.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. There's some emotion in the movie and a theme anyone can relate to, loneliness, being an outcast, and fear of abandonment. Oddly, the movie didn't make me cry, only shed a tiny tear despite me being easily moved by fiction. But I do admit a few scenes were very touching. I felt my heartstrings being tugged at very strongly. A lot of people say Jim Carrey stole the show, but Sonic himself was the most fun to watch on screen, in my opinion. People are going to compare this to Detective Pikachu, though I love that movie and have no doubt that Sonic is a superior movie. I could rewatch Sonic again and again because it doesn't rely on twists. Detective Pikachu was boring to me on the second watch. Also, the human characters in Sonic are far more appealing and way better acting. A few more thoughts. I was happy to see the humans don't take the spotlight away from Sonic the Hedgehog. Even with small roles, most of them were enjoyable characters. You shouldn't expect any twists or a complicated plot in the movie. The fun and thrill of what's going on more than makes up for it. It is pure fun and can appeal to anyone, and sometimes that's all a family film needs to be in order to be its best. Kids will love it. Sonic fans will love it. Everyone else should have a great time, especially if you're a child at heart. It put me in an amazing mood that I'm sure will last with me for a while. Go watch the movie expecting nothing more than to have a blast and laugh, and you won't be disappointed. Depending on who you are, the movie will likely exceed those expectations too. 10 out of 10 stars. Yeah, I mean, agreed.
Yeah, I would agree. It is well paced.
Yeah.
Funny. Apparently not a fan of Detective Pikachu, this person.
Well, upon second viewing.
Upon second viewing, not a fan of Detective Pikachu. But yeah, I would agree with that review.
Yeah. All right. Well, apparently other people didn't enjoy it as much, though.
Oh, no.
Here you go. This comes to us from Crapshoot.
Okay. Lovely name.
If you've seen Hop, you've seen Sonic, naming the Easter Bunny movie that James Marsden did.
Yeah. I didn't know if Hop was going to come up, but there it is.
Mumbling soundtrack aside, this movie really tried hard but ultimately failed. Sonic was less interesting than I expected him to be and found myself often daydreaming through his predictable dialogue. I was then hopeful for a resurgence of the OG Jim Carrey, but he failed to show up. More so, just dim shades of his former glory. I then looked to James Marsden, the king of talking to animated animals that aren't really there. By the way, he's in the running with one Brendan Fraser, in my opinion, but who's also done a lot of that. And felt he nailed his typical empty role, fully believing in himself all the way. But halfway through, I was hoping the movie would actually speed up and finish. Not the review you were hoping for. 1 out of 10 stars.
Goodness gracious.
I will say most of the 1-star reviews. There aren't a lot of thought out 1-star reviews. A lot of the 1-star reviews are just like boring, blah, didn't like,
Yeah.
That was the most cogent, thought out 1-star review I could find. So
just watch Hop, apparently.
Yeah, I just think that's it's very dismissive.
Yeah. I would not. The predictable dialogue is a weird.
Yeah, I don't even know what that like in terms of he talks like Sonic. I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't agree with that person.
No. Whatever. Whatever. Yeah. So that's Sonic the Hedgehog. I do think this is it's probably the best movie I've watched so far this season. With the caveat of the bar for adapting Sonic is somewhat lower. You know what I mean? Like it's a light movie based on a lighter video game.
Yeah, I mean, video game movies are tough.
Yeah.
And I've been watching some of the movies that this podcast is covering, and there's so much they have to teach you about worlds and situations that sometimes you're just like, ugh.
I do think this one of the lessons that I would say
pace is so slow.
I would say one of the things this movie doesn't do that we often complain about this season on the show that I would say is an example to, if not, because obviously not everything can have the vibe of a Sonic movie, but this movie does not attempt to overcomplicate anything. And I would say that oftentimes these movies feel the need to be like, well, this is a video game, so it's pretty slight in some way. We got to add in more twists and turns or more what they perceive as depth, but really just makes the movie more convoluted and tough to watch.
Yeah, and I just get like lost in it, and I'm just like, ugh.
So
I don't know what's going on. I don't know who people are.
I would say that's something I think this movie really succeeds at, is that it's very simply told. It's very clear in its intentions. And yeah, I think it is the most successful translation of at least the vibe of a video game into a movie that I have seen so far on this show.
Yeah.
All right.
It's very well done.
Well, next week on the show, is this... No, this will be the return of him. It's the return of, we can't have a video game season without at least a couple visits to the filmography of one Paul W.S. Anderson.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, a man who spent a lifetime making these. And this is, I've never seen this movie. I've also never played any of these games. This is his adaptation of Monster Hunter. Mila Jovovich, big surprise there,
of course,
is Monster Hunter. I don't know. I know very. She seems to be fighting giant monsters.
I mean, it's possible you could have played that. I wouldn't have been surprised if you said you'd played Monster Hunter.
I will say it's got Tony Jaa, one of my favorite martial artists, and Ron Perlman in it. Although I love Ron Perlman, but even he will tell you that sometimes he takes movies because, in his own words, his wife likes shoes.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You don't hear that a lot, like the specific of like, it's
that
my
was
wife needs
if
shoes.
if you're a listener of Meet the Monsters, when we did the Blood Rain movie, which is, by the way, for people asking why we're not covering the Blood Rain movies on here, it is because we covered them on Meet the Monsters, and those are based on video games, but we did them because they're also vampire movies, so we did them on Meet the Monsters, and we'll tell the story about. I think it was Steven Weber talked about running into Ron Perlman, and he said, yeah, I'm going to Bulgaria to shoot this vampire movie. And he's like, Jesus, Ron, why are you doing that? And he said, because my wife likes shoes, which I think is the best answer.
That's an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if she has one of those like very fancy like shoe closets that you see on HGTV.
I have to imagine, based on the fact that he's going to Bulgaria to work with Uwe Boll, so
yeah. I mean, that's commitment to your wife.
My wife likes shoes.
To go to Bulgaria.
My wife likes shoes. I do all, and I've said this on other podcasts as well. I do have respect for the guys who are just like, this is my job. Whether or not the movie's good is neither here nor there for me. I have to make money. I think
gotta, there's bills and stuff to pay.
Yeah, I was talking about, and I talked about it on the Silent Hill Revelation episode, that Malcolm McDowell has talked about that, and I have obviously immense respect for that guy. But his whole thing is just like, I work, I go to work. Yeah. If the movie is good, great. If not, I don't. I made money for my family. Like, that's all. He treats it like a 9-to-5 job. I go to work.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not. And so sometimes he's in great stuff, sometimes he's in terrible stuff. But of course, as the great Michael Caine said, the key is you can be in terrible movies, but you should never be terrible in a movie.
Oh, that's great advice.
Yeah, and that's another guy who was always a mercenary.
That's probably a very healthy way to have a career, to go like, hey, I'm doing this because I have a job and I need to get money, instead of like berating yourself.
Sometimes you're working with Guillermo del Toro. Sometimes you're in Paul W.S. Anderson's Monster Hunter. You know?
It's a little mix of everything.
And you know what? Having seen a ton of his work, he'll be great in it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's not going to phone it in. He would never do that.
Never seen it. Never seen him not be great in something. And look,
I'd be shocked.
As long as Tony Jaa does some sweet kicks, I'll be happy. I'll be happy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's all you're looking for.
I don't know. I'm not dreading this one. I don't love the work of Mr. Anderson.
That's fair.
Yeah. But he and his wife have convinced studios to let them pay for vacations. So I don't.
They've made so many.
I really think they do just go places. Like let's go here and make a movie.
Where can we go?
We can get a studio to pay for us to go to wherever. Mike Gergani will be with me for that episode, who's been running throughout the season. I think he has played those games, so that will help.
That would make sense.
Yeah. So we will talk about that. Then, of course, if you want more from us, you can head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/punchupent. That's punchupent. You get cool exclusive bonus content from all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. And make sure you follow us on YouTube. That's youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. All our podcasts are on there, as well as exclusive video content. Like, comment, subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications so you never miss anything that we put out. Kinsey, thank you for coming on. You're going to be on all of next season, which I'll reveal at the end of this season what we'll be talking about. But you will be the ongoing investigator for next season's episodes. So
I'll be around a lot.
So look forward to that. But I think that's going to do it. Until next week, the case file is closed.